Alright, so yesterday we hit all our parts with rust converter. 2 treatments. I do this with every differential, every axle stub. These are painted, but you can obviously see that they're in there. So this is the first step we do before paint, and it encapsulates the rust pretty well and a lot of the corrosion. It kind of looks like Sharpie, but that staining means it converted. Anything on the sealing surfaces comes off really easily with just a little Scotch-Brite pad, or even just brake cleaning a rag. So not really worried about that. Main thing was to get this thing encapsulated. So this isn't stained quite as hard, but it is also encapsulated completely. So we're going to run on to our second step of this process, where we paint it with our nice dupe color engine. Now, high heat stuff isn't necessarily necessary for a differential. It will get warm, but it won't be like it's not engine temperature, so that's a little bit overkill. But it also, if we overkill it, then it won't, you know what I'm saying. Might as well go for the overkill. So I'll catch you guys back up after I paint this bitch. Alright, so we got our 2 coats paint on there. Looking pretty good. Laid nice and flat. No drips, no nothing like that. Got the cover finish too. That's all painted up with high temp red. Same stuff. So, about ready to get working on it. Now, unfortunately, what I discovered while I was setting everything up, because I got new bearings, seals, everything like that in today. I'll get the rig over here. Alright, so issue I'm running into, which isn't that big of a deal with some of these old cars, you kind of run into this. It's when the companies stop making the same things, which usually isn't that big of a deal, but a lot of times the bearing series end, and then you have to get a different series, but they're usually similar enough that you don't have to mess around with them too much. But when it comes to some of these NSKs, they're really hard to get a true fitment for any other brand for the most part, because NSKs for some reason are just running their own proprietary everything. Whereas most bearings between Timken, National, and some of the other brands are all pretty much the same when it comes to numbers and stuff like that. But NSK, for whatever reason, is a little bit weird. I mean, you can tell by the sequence of number. It's R45 or R41. These are a bit hard to get your hands on, because you can't necessarily buy NSKs through a bearing company. You have to literally order them from NSK, which is kind of hard to do. So the issue I'm running into is the height of the races is different. Now, the bearings are the same. That's the important part. Bearings are the same height. Bearings work. That's all kosher. But these are different. So I had to order a shim pack from LCE, and that'll get here in a couple days, and then I'll touch base with you guys past that. But everything else I ordered is all correct, so we're good to go in that aspect. Just a issue I ran into, and sometimes it happens. Now, a lot of you were probably like, why didn't you just buy the LSE or LCE kit to begin with? And that's because generally when you buy a kit that's all built up like that, a lot of times it'll be a little bit more expensive because they source the bearings for you instead of you doing it yourself. But also in the LCE kit that I saw, they don't have the races. They only sell the bearings. And reusing a race on a brand new bearing's a pretty big no-no. So went and sourced my own, and this is kind of what happens when it comes to that. But the important thing is it's correct bearing. Cone does work. It's just the race works. It's just a little bit thinner, which not a big problem, and it does fit in the actual diff, and it's the same size. I checked everything. So get back to you guys next week with another update.